business credit and personal credit are both very valuable tools to any entrepreneur, any business owner looking to expand and grow their business, whether you're a startup or an existing business. But there's a lot of misconceptions and just misunderstanding about how it all works. So I decided I wanted to basically take you through Business Credit 101, which is actually the name of my course. But I want to give more than I've ever given before on YouTube in terms of just breaking down how all of this works. And I'm going to do that by taking you to a page on my website, and I'm going to give you access to the page. You can go to the page anytime you want. It's going to be theapprovedguy.com/bizcred. That's BUSCRED. So theapprovedguy.com/bizcred. And on that page, it's going to have the 10 steps of business credibility with the links and resources for you to implement each step of business credibility. And then at the bottom, it's going to have a bonus of basically the 3 or 4 accounts that I'd recommend you set up immediately to make sure your business is credible in the eyes of banks and lenders. And so with that, you can actually establish tier 1 business credit in your business profile. But before we dive in there, I do want to just talk a little bit about personal credit and help you to understand that, having good business credit is very powerful, but it doesn't negate the need to have good personal credit. Most banks and lenders, whether you're doing an SBA 7A loan, equipment financing, term loans, and lines of credit, if you're applying for a real loan and not a cash advance, which is a high, they don't call it interest, it's a factor rate, but it's basically a factor rate of 1.2 to 1.5, which translates to 20 to 50% interest. They're looking at 3 to 6 months bank statements. Anybody can get that. If you have a business tax ID, you're in business for 3 to 6 months, and you have any income, you don't have to have good credit, personal or business. Anybody can get that. So there's a lot of brokers out there selling these loans, and they're making it out to seem like you have to have business credit. They're luring, baiting, and switching you. Just look out for that. But I'm talking about getting access to a real line of credit with decent rates between 8 to 12 or max 15%. In the business realm, those are really good rates. An SBA 7A loan is prime plus 3 up to it could be lower down to 1.5 to 2, but prime is 7.5 plus 3, so that's 10.5% for an SBA loan on a 10-year term. And so those are, these are rates for business loans, for good business loans. That's where you're at. But to get access to that, you still have to have good personal credit. So first and foremost, if you don't have good credit, the question is why? Do you have late payments, collections, charge-offs? Like, what's holding your credit down? If it's due to derogatory items such as late payments, charge-offs, collections, things of that nature, then you're going to need to dispute and fight that. And there's 2 ways to do that. I can provide you with a link and a do-it-yourself tool where you can try to dispute the credit yourself. But if you don't want to do it yourself, I can introduce you to a credit repair expert that I know and trust that is high level of integrity, high level of performance, high level of communication. But you do have to understand, when it comes to credit repair, when you're disputing issues on your credit report, there is no guarantee that anyone can clean up your credit. But it's an uphill battle, but it's a battle worth fighting because the statute of limitations is 7 years. And so you do want to fight. You want to try to clean up your credit to improve your personal credit. Now, the other side of disputing credit, which is if you have damage, is if you don't have a lot of credit, if you have very little depth and history, then you need to build credit. And I can also provide you with a list of accounts that you can set up to build your personal credit so that you can establish new credit and increase your credit score without having to put inquiries on your credit, especially if you're trying to build it. You don't want to be putting a bunch of inquiries on the credit at this time. All right. So I just want to touch on personal credit because, building business credit does not negate the need to have good personal credit. You're going to need personal credit. SBA loans are personally guaranteed. Equipment loans are personally guaranteed. Business credit cards are personally guaranteed, but they also look at the business credit. So you need to have both, right? So starting with the personal credit, I think I've said it. You need a repair. I can help you do it yourself. I can introduce you to an expert. If you need to build credit, I can provide you with a list. I can help you build your personal credit with instructions and guidance to build it, to improve the personal credit. Okay, let's draw a line in the sand. Now let's talk about business credit. Okay, now for that, I'm going to share my screen with you. But yeah, so let's go there now. Let's just go ahead and dive into the screen here. Okay, perfect. So this is the website. You can see the web address right there, theapprovedguy.com/bizcred. Okay, so just go to that website. And again, the link for that is going to be in the description. So feel free to, go to the website. And this is free. I'm giving it to you as a gift, guys. So everybody can go take advantage of this. And do it yourself. Okay. So first of all, what is business credibility? So business credibility is the quality of being trusted and believed in by business credit bureaus, banks, and your target customers. All right. So I have a logo there of the three big dogs, or the three big players and bureaus in the business credit space, which is Dun & Bradstreet, Experian, and Equifax. But I have a little link here. If you click on that, it's going to open up this window, which is going to show you, it's going to help you to understand who all the players are in the business credit space. So what you see here is first, credibility. What is that? Okay. And tier one of building business credit. What does that consist of? Once your business is credible, you can then move on to earning a Dun & Bradstreet Paydex score, or an Experian Intelli score, or an Equifax risk score. Okay. To earn a Paydex score, you'll need 3 to 5 business credit accounts to report to Dun & Bradstreet, and at least 2 to 3 accounts with Experian, and 1 to 2 accounts with Equifax. At this point, round 1 or tier 1 would be completed, and your business would be in position with a legitimate business credit profile. You can qualify for government grants and business funding, and you're ready to move on to the next tier. All right. So first, again, who are the players? So we have Dun & Bradstreet. Dun & Bradstreet they'll give you a DUNS number. Okay. Having a DUNS number means absolutely nothing. It's like having a bank account. It means nothing unless there's money in it. So having a DUNS number is just the account number. You have to have a score. The score is called the Paydex score. Okay. And the Paydex score goes up to 100. Anything below 80 is just not favorable. 80 to 90 is good. 90 or better is excellent. But it's not just the score, it's the amount of trade lines and experiences that you have on your credit profile that determine the depth of your profile, which is how deep it is and how strong it is. So you could have a 90 Paydex score, but still have a very slim profile, which means you're probably in the tier 1 of building business credit. Okay, so Paydex score with Dun & Bradstreet was going to require 3 to 5 accounts. At the bottom of the page that we're looking at, I already gave you 4 accounts down there that you can set up, right? And so go ahead and do that. And those accounts will report and build your Paydex score. You got it for free. Okay. Now, if you want one-on-one coaching to support you, guide you, and explain clarification, and then of course I can help you with my coaching. We can do hourly coaching. You can purchase a coaching package, and at the end, I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so that's Dun & Bradstreet. Okay. And so the next bureau is Experian, but this is not Experian personal credit. This is Experian business credit, and their score is called the Intelli score. And they basically, it's completely separate from your personal credit. So the Experian Intelli score is created when you have at least 2 to 3 accounts that report to Experian. And again, it's on a scale of 1 to 100. And the accounts that I've given you at the bottom of this page will establish that Experian Intelli score for you. The third bureau is Equifax, which is their business risk score. Okay, now they're a little different. Their score range is from 101 to 992. It's completely different. It's very difficult to build the Equifax score because there's just not a lot of products or accounts that report to Equifax. but it's okay because it's not going to be as much weight as Experian and Dun and Bradstreet. So we're going to build Equifax, but more important is Dun and Bradstreet and Experian. But we are going to build Equifax as well because it does have weight. So there's a subdivision of Equifax, which is the next account listed there, called PayNet. And PayNet is basically where equipment lenders for equipment leasing, big rigs, big commercial equipment, trucks, vehicle leasing, these companies look at PayNet, which is a subdivision of Equifax. And so as you build credit on your lease agreements and you build your business credit profile, you'll be building out your PayNet score. LexisNexis is the next one that you see there. LexisNexis is not technically a credit bureau. LexisNexis is it's more of a data aggregator that collects data and then they sell data to the credit bureau. So this is the actual one of the sources that the credit bureaus, both the personal and the business, get their data from, and they buy the data from LexisNexis. So that's kind of like the core or the heart of where data is sitting and being collected is LexisNexis. And so it's not that we're building a LexisNexis profile, but we're also going to be checking LexisNexis to make sure there's no bad information, no bad data. And if there's anything that's, incorrect, inaccurate, then we can clean up LexisNexis, which can clean up both your personal and your business credit. Credit Safe is another business credit bureau. They have a score of 1 to 100. Credit Safe, I would say, is really advantageous if you're doing international business. So if you're doing business internationally, a lot of foreign countries look at Credit Safe to determine the strength of your business credit. So if you're an international based business where you could be in the United States or outside of the United States, but you're looking to do business and commerce internationally, you want to build your Credit Safe. But if you're inside the US only, that's where your clients are and that's where your business is, honestly, I would not spend too much time worrying about Credit Safe. But it wouldn't hurt to build it out. But again, that's not where you want to focus unless you're international. All right, the next one is the Small Business Financial Exchange. So the Small Business Financial Exchange is a data aggregator. They basically collect data from Dun & Bradstreet, Experian, and Equifax, and then they report that to other places, namely FICO, and then to the SBA, and then the SBA together with FICO created the next score, which is the FICO Small Business Scoring Service, the SPSS score. So when you're looking to get approved for an SBA 7A loan, and you've been in business for at least 2 years, you are considered an existing business at that point, and your loan amount is up to $500,000. Any loan amount up to $500,000 is going to require an SPSS score. Depending on the bank, I would say the minimum score would be 155, but most banks are looking for 170. So, I would want to see your SPSS score up to 170 or higher to be able to qualify for that SBA loan. So this is where, if you have okay personal credit, let's say you have a 750 personal credit score, that's a pretty good personal credit score. The SPSS score is comprised it's a combination. They look at your personal and the business and they kind of put it together. So if you had like an 800, 810, 820 personal score, there's a good chance that your SPSS score without any business credit is probably going to be somewhere around 165, 170 in that range. So you might be able to get by without building business credit if you have that strong of a personal credit. And again, this is just for the SPSS score as it pertains to the SBA. But when we're talking about other things such as business credit cards, term loans, lines of credit, you still have to have that minimum business credit profile of tier 1 credit, business credit, and credibility so that you can qualify. Okay, so with the SPSS score, again, if you have an amazing personal credit score, you might get in, you might pass the test. But if you're even around 750, 760, that might, but you have no business credit, your SPSS score may be below the requirement. You may be down somewhere around, let me highlight it's what we're talking about, maybe around 150, 140 on the SPSS score. And if that's the case, unfortunately, you're not going to qualify. You're going to get declined. So you could have good credit and meet all the other guidelines and criteria. Your industry is good. Your tax returns are good. You have enough debt service coverage ratio to be able to pay for the monthly payments. Everything else is good. But if that SPSS score doesn't meet the minimum requirements, then the only way to lift up that score would be to do what I'm telling you here, is to build the business credit. So that's why you still have to have good personal and you have to have good business credit. So there's a lot of people out there talking about, oh, you don't need personal credit, just business. It's a lie. It's really they're baiting you in to basically buy into their course and coaching, where they're going to get you a lot of business accounts that unfortunately have no value to you. Well, I would say they don't have any value, but they don't have the value that you were hoping and expecting that they would have. But because they got you the accounts, they met the terms of their consulting or coaching, and so they're just moving on to the next client. Unfortunately, that's what you're going to find. So when you're working with me, and as you see, I want to make sure you truly understand and you're educated on exactly what's going on and who the players are and how it works, and that you still need personal credit so that you can qualify for the SBA 7A, for business lines of credit and term loans, and the really good ones too, not that garbage cash advance stuff that's gonna bankrupt your company. All right, so once you've gotten your tier 1 credit, you can stop there if you want. But if you want to get to the level where you can buy cars, trucks, you could buy equipment like laptops, Dell, Apple, devices up to into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. And, that is going to require that you build your business credit all the way to tier 3, right? So there's tier 4. So there's three more tiers above tier 1. And basically we're just doing the same thing. And so you do have to understand, when you're building business credit, what are you doing? You're simply establishing a relationship. You're creating an account with a vendor or creditor who reports their account to that business credit bureau. And then you're having to purchase something to then make a transaction record that you're going to pay, so they can report that payment and transaction history to the business credit bureau. So this is an investment in your business. Okay. It takes dollars. It takes money to build your business credit. It's an investment that you're making in your business's profile to build up the business credit, so that you can then access what you can have access to with the business credit, which you would not have been able to have access to if you did not build a business credit. Getting approved for business credit cards does not build your business credit. Having a bunch of business loans does not build your business credit. Unfortunately, I've talked to folks that are in business for 10, 15 years. They've had lots of different loans, lots of different credit cards. But when we go check Dun & Bradstreet and Experian business credit and Equifax business credit, there's nothing there. Nada. That's because they don't report. So building business credit and getting access and approved for funding for the business, most of the time the business is getting funded based on the business tax returns and revenue, and based on the personal guarantee. And those accounts are not reporting to the business credit. So just, separate the two. There's a difference between getting business funding and business credit cards approvals and building business credit. Okay. So two completely different things. You can get approved. There's a program that I can assist you with if you want to have access, get up to 100 to 200,000 in 0% business credit cards. That is a unique program. It requires tier 1 business credit. It requires a little patience and time to establish relationships with a few different banks and credit card companies. And then you can get access to a large lump sum. Not everybody gets 200,000. It's based on the depth of your personal credit history and the amount of revenue and income that you can verify. Okay. So, that's the other thing. There's a lot of folks that are, basically taking people to banks and creditors, and they're putting, a lot of borderline information, whether, shady, it's a gray area of what they're putting on the applications as far as income and revenue. And that is a slippery slope that can get you in big trouble. So you want to be honest about your revenue. You want to be honest about your income. And if you don't have it yet, then don't do it yet. Wait till you have it to be able to qualify to do it, because you don't want to get in trouble. Okay, guys. So with that said, once you build up the business credit after tier 2, you move on to tier 3 and 4. And basically what happens is the reason there's tiers is because on tier 1, you're able to get access to accounts that kick you off, that start building your profile. If you try to apply for certain accounts that are quote unquote tier 2, tier 3, or tier 4, but you don't have the basics set up with a basic profile, which are tier 1 profile accounts, then you're not going to get approved. So that's why you have to build the basis. And then there are a list of tier 2 accounts that look, okay, you have, more or less a few accounts that were quote unquote tier 1. And so now you can qualify for these accounts. And then same thing. Now it opens up the door for more accounts that are in quote unquote tier 3. And then there is no such thing as a tier. We're just using that as a word of kind of levels of accounts that are available as you graduate. There's not like a clear line. It's like a blend and a blur in between each tier, but you do have to graduate. You have to start at the bottom and build up and build up and build up to be able to get access to more credit, more debt in the business name without a personal guarantee. And the accounts that you're going to be getting in tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4 are going to be a lot more useful, a lot more powerful accounts for you to be able to leverage in your business with daily expenses, with all types of benefits, rewards, cashback, with all types of levers and pulls that you're going to benefit from for the business. And so that's the process of building the business credit. True story. Okay, guys. I had a client that built their business credit with me. This was a while back now. I'd say about 4 years ago. And, we went through the process, built out the business credit. They had a beautiful profile. They did not foresee or know that the business credit was going to benefit them this way. They were a marketing company and they put in a bid for a contract for a multi-million-dollar marketing contract with a client. And it was a competition. I don't know how many companies were in the competition, but at the end it came down to 2 companies, them and one other marketing company. The variable that allowed them to win the competition was that they had a really good business credit profile and the other company didn't. That is not why they built their business credit. They were only thinking about funding and getting access. But because they had good business credit, they won the competition for the contract, which was the biggest multi-million-dollar contract that their business had ever gotten to that date. So understand that there are dimensions and things that you don't see that are in your future as far as being prepared, right? One of my favorite movies was The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise, and they interviewed him after the movie, and he said that the best thing you can do is prepare. He spends so much time preparing and getting himself into the character so that when it came time to shoot, he wasn't even acting anymore. He was just being himself in the character that he had prepared for. And that took hundreds of hours of training and pain and sweat to get to that point of perfecting that character. Well, that's the same thing with your business, whether it's your business credit and getting it ready, getting it prepared for the opportunity that you don't even know is coming. But if you're not prepared for the opportunity, then when it comes, you're going to miss it. But if you are prepared, then when it comes, you can grab it. And that's what building your business credit is really all about. More than getting access to funding, here or there, which is good and helpful as your process growing, but it's really just preparing your business for exponential growth and to be able to take advantage of the biggest opportunities. And in the end, it increases your business's net worth. So if you ever decided that you wanted to sell your business, it's going to increase the value of your business substantially. So you can, really sell the business at a much higher market value than what it would be selling at if you did not have a strong business credit profile, because that business credit profile is attached to the EIN number, the tax ID number, not to the business owner. It's attached to the business. So when you sell that business, you're selling the business credit that you built with that business. It's a part of it. So with that said, let me go ahead and go back over here, kind of take you guys a little bit through the credibility. So these are the 10 steps of credibility to establish and build your business credit. This is step one. Before you start setting up vendor accounts and creating relationships with vendors and creditors to build business credit, you have to make sure you're credible. Credibility means that in the eyes of the banks and the lenders, you look like a business. You are functioning and acting as a business, that you're not treating it as a hobby, which means you can do business and make money if you're using a free email account like Gmail, Hotmail, Yahoo, etc. But to banks and lenders, they're not going to take you as serious as if you have an email at your domain, Jim at jimsbarbecue.com, or Paul at paulsgym.com. I'm just making those up, right? So you want to get a domain name. That's one of the credibility. So let's just go ahead and go down the list here. Let me share it with you. Here we are. So the first thing on the list here is going to be your business name. Your business name, you want to make sure that no one else has it, and you want to make sure that the way you write it with the IRS, when you form your EIN on your SS4 form, it's the same way you write it in terms of spelling, spacing, even capitalization. As you list it with the Secretary of State, with your bank account, and everywhere else on your website. So your business name. Now, you don't have to have a business plan to build your business credit, but I strongly, strongly urge you to build a business plan. This is a link right here to a business plan software called LivePlan, and you can set up an account with LivePlan. And basically what that's going to do for you is it's going to allow you to build your business plan, and their starting cost is, I think, around $15 a month to build a business plan. So this is a great tool to build a business plan. One of the biggest reasons that businesses fail is because they don't have a plan. They just wing it. They're moving they're doing business off of a whim, off of a wish and a prayer. If that's how you do business, chances of failure are high. But if you have a business plan, it's literally a crystal ball into the future where you can kind of project and see what's coming. In LivePlan software, they even help you build out projections so you know exactly what your expenses and costs are and what your margins are going to be for the next 2 to 3 years. So I strongly urge LivePlan. I use this with all my clients who are getting approved for SBA 7A loans, and it works perfectly. They get approved for the loan with LivePlan's SBA business plan version. If you're not looking for an SBA loan, just build out a business plan. You don't have to do this, but I strongly urge and strongly recommend that you do. Okay. But your business name, you want to make sure that it's a good name. What you don't want to do, I urge and recommend, don't put your name in your business name. Don't put your industry in your business name. These are just tips that I'm giving you. Take it or leave it. It's up to you, but it's just a good idea not to do that. Okay. And so don't put the name of the industry per se. Don't put your name. Make the name something unique and different. And it doesn't have to say what it is that you do. Your business name doesn't have to say, exactly what you do. It could just be a name. Give it a name, and you'll be fine. Okay. So your legal structure is the next one. And that whether you want to form an LLC, S Corp, or C Corp, I'm not an attorney, so I'm not going to give you legal advice. But what I've seen a lot of businesses do is set up an LLC, and then they pay themselves as an S Corp, so they get the S Corp tax advantages and the LLC protection. So that might be something to consider. This link here to My Corporation is going to give you the ability to set that up, and they're going to help you to set it up in any state. You could do a foreign filing. in Delaware, Wyoming, and other states that do foreign filings. If that's what you want to do, they will give you consult and help you to make the right decision. But this is a very affordable service, and they also have several packages depending on how much support and assistance you need. Okay, so that's getting the business up and running with formation. The next item on the list here is your contact info. So you want to have a business phone number, not a personal. Can you do business with your personal? Yes. Should you? Not if you want to be credible in the eyes of banks and lenders. Okay. And bureaus, the business credit bureaus. So you want to have a legitimate business phone number. It's very expensive to get a conventional line, and you don't need to anymore. So you can just get a virtual phone number with a company like Ring Central. So you don't have to use them, but Ring Central has a really cool feature in what they offer, because with Ring Central, not only is it a line, a phone number, but it's a professional phone service. It's a professional answering, like business answering system. So you can have a professional voicemail. You can forward calls. You can set up a digital fax number, and it's very inexpensive. So it's a great product. I recommend it. It works great. It's professional, and it's going to be a legitimate business number. I would recommend setting up a toll-free number. That looks better to the banks and lenders. It doesn't have to be 800, but just toll-free is good. You don't have to do that, but that's my recommendation. Okay. The next one is your business location. So your business location is going to be your business office. You can build business credit with your home address. If you're a startup, you're a home-based business, that's fine. But the problem is, if you want to create a separation of remaining anonymous to your audience, to your clients, or to your competitors, then it's public information. So your home address will be listed for the business, and with Google, they could zoom right into your street address and come visit you. So if you want to create some remain anonymous, then you want to set up a virtual address. But it's very important when you set up a virtual address that you don't set up an address with a PO box or a mail center. Okay, those are cheaper, but they don't work for your business credit. Banks will see that, and it throws up a red flag that there's some kind of fraud going around, because that's what fraudsters do. They use PO boxes and mailbox centers to apply for credit and use people's identity to commit fraud. So you want to have a virtual office at a real office location where there's actual businesses and offices, and then they have a mailbox room in their office center where you can receive mail. And with Opus offices, they'll forward mail to you. It's optional. That's an add-on that you can do. So their office locations are called premium locations. So you just go into the Opus offices link here, and you can set it up. It's only $99 a month for Opus offices, and again, you get your address, professional live call answering, personalized call transferring. They even give you a business phone number and a fax number, so you don't even need to get the other number I mentioned. If you want to, there is an upgrade for a toll-free number, professional mail receipt, and it's a little extra if you want to have them forward your mail. But all of this is included for $99 a month, the address and the phone number. So this is a great value versus having to rent office space. Just use Opus offices. I strongly recommend them. Alternatively, I gave you another option, iPostal. Just make sure, if you're going to use them, that you're getting a prestige location, not just, again, not a mail room, not a PO box. It has to be with Opus. It's a premium location, and with iPostal, it's a prestige location. Okay, and that will be acceptable with banks and lenders for your business address, so that they feel comfortable that you're credible. Okay. The next is your industry codes. You need to know your industry codes. That's your SIC and NAIC code. You basically set that up here. You just go to their website, and why isn't it not working? Oops, I'll fix that. Here, I'll do a quick search for it. That should come up easy peasy. Yep, there it is. I'll fix that link, guys. Don't worry about it. So you just come here and you just start search for industry codes. Now there's certain codes that look, whatever you actually do, that's what your code needs to be. Okay. You try to pretend and say you're not doing this, but you're doing that. It could come back to bite you. So just find your code, and you're gonna do well with your business. But I'll say this: certain financial businesses, financial services, real estate, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. So you might want to look at things that are more in like the consulting realm type of codes that would be, allow you to get access to funding and still be within the realm of what you do. Okay. All right. So the next is your business web presence. You could just use GoDaddy or domains.com, whatever you choose to set up your domain name. That's your website address, and your email address at your domain. And with your website, you need to have at least, just a few pages, 4 or 5 pages, a contact form. Your address, the business address needs to be listed. The business email needs to be listed so that when they look you up, they can verify that you're there. Your website is a virtual office location, business location. And so that's very important. So make sure you set that up. And the email address for your domain name is super, super important. Make sure you set that up. Now, just remember when you're setting up your domain name, that you can, if you want to remain anonymous, you can purchase, it's an upgrade on the domain where you can purchase privacy, and then no one knows who owns the domain. Same thing when you're setting up a business. If you go back to my company corporation at the beginning here, I forgot to mention that here, my corporation right here. They offer a service where they'll be your registered agent. I mentioned it right there. And so that can basically, your name is not on public record. It's your registered agent is. And so, but do keep in mind that a registered agent address is not your business address. That's separate. That's different. You still need to have a separate business address. So even if you have a registered agent and there's an address for your registered agent, that is not your business address. That's your registered agent address. And again, that's how you would remain anonymous. When you form the company, you use a registered agent. When you set up the website address, you add the privacy. And then by using a virtual address, your home address is not on public record. So your personal name, your personal identity is nowhere to be found for fraudsters or for creditors or for even clients or competitors who want to somehow harm you. You can create that protection and that buffer, that layer. Okay, so you need to get a business checking account. You can go to any bank you want, open up any business checking account. I use 2 different banks. I use Chase. I use Chase for, the reason I use Chase is because they have Zelle. Okay. And I like Zelle, but otherwise I would just stick with, Live Oak Bank. But Live Oak Bank does not have Zelle. So I put Live Oak Bank here because it's not something you're going to know about. You could go to Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Truist, PNC Bank, and open up a regular bank account, business checking. I would look for a bank that doesn't charge me fees, that has other products like credit cards, business credit cards, and loans that they can offer me. So just ask, what other products do you guys have that are going to benefit me, and go with a bank that doesn't charge fees and that can potentially help you with funding in the future, whether it's business credit cards or SBA loans, etc. Okay. The bank you have a relationship is always the best bank to get funding from. Live Oak Bank happens to be the largest SBA loan lender in the country, the biggest, but their banking is all fintech. So they don't have a brick and mortar location. They have a business savings account that's giving you 3.5% up to 4% APY. And they just opened up the business checking account with an APY. I don't have that yet on the site, but if you click the link, first you have to set up the business checking. Then you just attach the business savings. When you log in, you're going to have both accounts in one screen. Let me just show you this so you believe me. But basically you have a 3.15% APY here. Okay, so that dropped a little. I have to update the website. It was a little more, but 3.15% is more than 99.9% of banks out there. So your money that's sitting in your bank account can grow by 3.15%, that's a win. That's a win, guys. Okay. So do that. Set that up. Let your cash flow that's sitting, that's, not moving for the month, sit there, set up the other bank account. You could just do online transfer. And I do a lot of bill pay through Live Oak, and then use Chase if I need to do any kind of Zelle type of activity. But otherwise, you could just use Live Oak if you're not really needing to do the Zelling stuff. So this is a great bank account. And like I said, they're the biggest SBA bank in the country. Okay, moving on. Your business license and permits. So, you have to get all types of licenses and permits depending on your industry. You might need to get liability protection, errors and omission. There's all types of insurances that are required. And Next Insurance is a great company that offers all types of business insurance. So you can use Next Insurance for your business insurance needs. Okay. Public records. So once you've done everything above that I just listed, everything we just went through, the next step is you want to get yourself listed on 411. So you click that link and you can list yourself on 411 directory. You make sure you set up everything so that your business address, your business phone number, your business email, all roads lead back to the business information. And you want to make sure IRS, Secretary of State, your bank account, everything has the same information. Okay. So your 411 directory, you get that set up. That puts you on public records. That's where LexisNexis is going to grab that data and store it so that the bureaus can find you, right? But you also want to set up web directories. This is a directory listing service that instead of going one at a time. Wrong link. I'll fix that, guys. So this link here for web directories, basically what it'll do, which I'm going to fix it for you. It's going to give you a resource where you can get registered with like 200 to 300 web directories in one click. Okay. So versus going one at a time and setting up a profile with every single web directory, and the more web directories you are in is the more your clients can find you. And of course, every web directory needs to have the same information: the business name, business phone, business address, business email, the same data, everything reporting accurately. This is a link for you to check and verify your UCC filings. UCC is Uniform Commercial Code, which is filed with the Secretary of State. So if you have debt in your name in your business, there could be a UCC filing against you that can prevent you from getting future loans. So you just want to check, and this is where you could check to make sure you don't have any UCC filings against the business. And then finally, once you've done all of those things, now you're ready to create your DUNS number. Now you may already have a DUNS number, but now you're ready to go claim it and update it with all that business information, all that legitimate data that you just prepared for your profile. That's your DUNS number. And now you have a DUNS number, you're able to verify that, you get DNB verified. Click those links to do that, to get all that set up with Dun & Bradstreet. So that, just go through the process with them. But you don't want to do this first. You want to do this after you've done everything else that we talked about. Once you have a Dun & Bradstreet profile and you can verify it, meaning you can verify everything is updated. It might not update overnight. It might take a couple weeks, or 1 or 2 weeks for that data to update in their system. But once you can verify they have all the correct information reporting in their system, then you go create an account with NAV to establish a business credit reporting account. They're also going to give you a business prime card is what they call it. It's like a business debit card that connects to your checking, and you can spend through their prime card. And the spending you do through the prime card reports to the business credit. So you're building business credit, and the NAV monthly membership subscription reports to your business credit. And that's going to be Experian Business, Equifax, and Dun & Bradstreet. So this one account, which is a reporting account so you can monitor your business credit, is going to report 2 trade lines to the 3 major business credit bureaus. So boom, you just got 2 trade lines off of one account. All right. Then you can, for Equifax, set up a Credit Strong. Click that link and go to Credit Strong to create a profile. And Credit Strong is like a savings account, a business savings account, and it reports the savings that you make monthly to Equifax. You want to go ahead and set up a Uline account. That's going to report to Experian only. I'm sorry, Dun and Bradstreet and Experian. So yes, set up Uline. You're going to need to make at least, I'd say, two to three transaction history records. So you want to buy something, pay it. Buy something, pay it. The bigger the buy, the bigger the history as in terms of purchasing power, and the stronger your credit's going to be. The smaller the buy, if you're going to go small, well, then your purchasing power in the future is going to be smaller. So go big, go big. Go small, go small. It's up to you, right? But Uline is going to report to Dun and Bradstreet and Experian. And I recommend for everybody to get a Bill Divvy corporate card. This account is a net 30, eventually net 60, net 90 terms. And it's also a tracking account for expenses, for business expenses. It builds business credit, budget management. You get virtual cards for spending for employees. It's a very powerful account. Highly recommend it. And then with the bill part of it, there's so much that it does. There's bill spend and expenses combined. Get a free demo. Just go ahead and they'll demo it for you and show you how to use it for your business. But it's not going to put any inquiry on your credit, and you're going to get a potentially a really good limit with net 30, 60, or 90-day terms. And so go ahead and set that one up. And so that's it. That's my gift to you for free. You guys take advantage of all that. Build your business credit. Now, if you want coaching, that's optional. If you need funding, that's optional. So you just click here and you can apply for funding with me. I do have a $250 consulting fee. So I'll review and assess and analyze your personal credit. I'll view and assess and analyze your business credit. I'll let you know what funding options are available. But for my time, we're going to spend probably at least an hour, maybe 2 or 3, going over stuff. Me on my own, maybe an hour or 2, and then together about an hour. So, that is what it is. That's a non-negotiable, non-refundable fee. I can't guarantee you a loan, but I can guarantee you that I'll give you clarity on where you are and what your options are. And if you're not qualified, I'll give you advice and instructions as what you need to do so that you can be qualified. That doesn't mean I'm going to give you coaching to all the coaching I do for free. You're going to get an hour with me. And then from there, if you want to do more, you can purchase additional hours, or you can purchase a package. Okay. So the package option would be my business credit course, which is this course here. And so the business credit course is all 4 tiers of building business credit, everything that we just went through. And so it's all here. You could read through it. And it also has some bonuses, including setting up your wealth reserve contract. Basically, if you're familiar with the strategy of infinite banking, where you are able to recapture expenses in a compound interest bearing account, where you have uninterrupted compound interest growth, and you're able to leverage, borrow against it to deploy that money to pay for debt, to pay for investments. And basically you build a bank, your own bank, that's going to grow tax-free for the rest of your life. I'm going to teach you how to do that. That's a bonus here in the course, in the package. If you have bad debt, you need help debt elimination strategies, including velocity banking or infinite velocity, teach you that. So yeah, ultimately your business opportunities, assets, and taxes strategy is your wealth reserve contract. And all of that is included. There's a few testimonials there of people that I've done business with and coached. And so you could check that out. So my 1 year of coaching is $24.97. $24.97 for the entire year. That's really unlimited coaching. You're going to get access to a 15-minute, a 30-minute, and an hour appointment scheduler, and you use it at your discretion. Don't abuse it. You use it wisely. I'm also going to be setting milestones and touch bases with you. Now, you can just purchase tier 1 coaching if you want, $597, but the full 12 months of coaching for all 4 tiers of business credit, which includes everything I said, personal credit, velocity banking, infinite banking, estate planning, and legacy planning. All of that is built in to the $24.97. Now, if in 12 months you haven't actually built out your business credit yet because you delayed it for whatever reason, life happens and you had to delay things. Well, what's going to happen is, um, I'm just going to keep supporting you as long as you need. So if it takes you 2 years, 3, whatever, you're going to get it. But once we reach the point where we've gone through all 4 tiers, and I reserve the right to say, okay, we're done. We've reached that point, and if we want to do additional coaching, then we can negotiate additional coaching. But if you haven't accomplished the objective and it takes you a year and a half or 2 years, that's up to you. That's your timeline. You're not going to pay me more. Your my coaching to help you to get there is what you're paying for. But it says 12 months because it should take 12 months if you focus and you do what I advise you to do. Each tier takes about 3 months to build, so 4 tiers takes 12 months. If you for your own reasons have to delay that, it takes longer, then that's okay. But once we accomplish all the tiers, then of course, at some point we're gonna draw that line in the sand. Okay. FYI, if you can't afford one payment in full, the checkout feature down here has Afterpay. If you look right here, it's giving 4 interest-free payments of almost like $150 at 0%. So that's interest-free. So that's good. Let's see what Klarna's offering for it. Same thing, 4 payments. Everybody's a little different. I think when you go there, based on what's in your profile on your cookies, maybe you might get a different offer. But if you can't make one payment in full, you can split that up into payments down here. Okay. You can also start with the smaller tier and then you just pay the difference later on if you need to. But I would definitely go ahead and commit to the big one, because most people that don't do that, they just stop and they don't continue. But if you commit to really building it out all the way, which is you're planning for your business growth and success, you are anticipating what's to come, which you don't know what that is. You don't know what's going to lead your business to the next level. Then, build your business credit out the max and get your profile ready so that you can be successful and have access to the funding, have access to the credibility, have access to the relationships, to the contracts, to the clients that having that profile for your business is going to earn you. All right. I think that's it, guys. I hope that this video was of value. I hope that you like and subscribe and share. Please let someone know who will let someone know about the value that you gained in this video. And look forward to speaking to you on a one-on-one. If you decide to book an appointment, I'll talk to you then. Take good care. God bless.